Today on our 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee, we're going to be taking a look at showing you how to install the Roadmaster Diode 7-wire to 4-wire flexi-coil wiring kit, part number RM-15247. This is what our diode kit looks like when it's installed. It's going to be one of 5 main components in a flat toe setup. You're going to need a tow bar, a base plate, a braking system, and safety cables. What this diode kit's going to do, it's going to allow you to activate the lighting functions on your Jeep from your RV while it's being flat towed. The diodes are going to prevent feedback from both vehicles when hooked together, in turn protecting the wiring in both. This kit will allow you to turn your Jeep's separate lighting system or 3-wire system into a combined system by combining your brake and turn signal without damaging your factory wiring. This diode kit is also going to come with an 8-foot flexi-coil electrical cord to connect your RV to your Jeep to activate those lights and turn signals. As far as the installation goes, it is a fairly straightforward installation. It can be done at home, in your garage, or in your driveway. You will have to do some splicing to connect your diodes to your factory wiring and your taillights, and you will have to run your wire from the front of the vehicle to the back. Other than that, there's not going to be any drilling, welding, anything like that required. It's going to come with all the necessary parts to get it installed. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let me show you how to get it installed. I like to start in the front. This is where my 4-pole is going to be sitting. So I dangle a little bit out. I just ran it down through here, right behind my headlight. And what you want to do, if you look right down next to the battery, I took some extra and I bundled it up right there and zip tied it right in place. I ran it around behind my cables here, or wires. I fed it right underneath of this. And what I did is took an airline tube, you can use a hanger, and if we go that way, you're going to hit the exhaust manifold. So what I did is I actually ran it right down through here, and what it does is it comes out behind my wheel well liner. Drop my wire down through there. You can see the hole in the frame. I just ran it through that hole across, came right out of this corner. What you got to keep in mind is when you're running it, anything that comes off of the tire could damage it, so we're going to try not to cross it through here. So I went along the inside of the frame here. I zip tied it up against it. I ran it right through the center of this cross bracket right here. Ran it across my frame behind this cross piece. Zip tied it to this existing hard line. Went up above my fuel tank to this inside. And where the fuel tank is held up by these braces, I just ran it right behind the 3 braces over top of the axle. We want to stay away from anything hot or moving. And what I'm actually going to do, bring the vehicle down a little bit, I'm actually going to go up above this where this existing line is. I'm going to zip tie it right there and come up above it. Remember, this individual doesn't have a spare tire, so we do have a spare tire that will cross here. So once we come up above this, and we'll decide which way we're going to go, because we're going to be tying into both tail lights. So you can see we have existing line here on our driver's side. We don't have any on the passenger side. You can see I ran a zip tie. We just run a couple more. Run through all of them. Make sure you pull it tight. Then we'll cut off our excess. Now our green wire is going to be our passenger side, yellow and brown driver's side, and white is going to be our ground. Now what we need to do is split all of our wires, like I did the green one here. And we're going to go up to where I zip tied it. And what we want to do is we're going to take our green and brown wire, and we're going to route them over to our passenger side. And we're going to go up above our mounting plate for our spare tire. If you have a spare tire, you're going to want to take that down. Zip tie our green and brown wire here to this existing wiring. Keep it up and out of the way. Now your kit does come with zip ties. I recommend getting some longer ones, but the shorter ones will work for this. Now I need to take my white, my green, and my brown wire. We're going to run it over to the passenger side. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run it right along this existing wiring right up here. go ahead and throw in a couple zip ties here. Feed our wires through. We're going to go up above the spare tire bracket here. And we're going to take them and go through this frame hole. Now we'll take our yellow wire, this wiring right here. The wiring is running up to our tail lights. I zip tied it right here, and we can run the extra wire up to the tail light, and we'll tie it in. Now we want to take a T25 star bit and remove the 2 star bolts, star head bolts there that are holding the tail light in place. And do that same thing on the passenger side. Go ahead and disconnect your wiring, push down, like that, and then right down on the bottom, we're going to have a little plastic fastener. Take the needle and those pliers, pinch the 2 ends together, and just feed it right through the hole, like that. We'll set our tail light aside for now, and we're going to repeat that for the passenger side. Now we can use a coat hanger or whatever you use to run your wire. You can use a bolt, something that has a little bit of weight, and some string. Drop it down to the bottom like that. We'll take our 3 wires, just run them through, and pull them back up like that. We'll do the same thing on the driver's side. These are going to be our diodes. You can see one side has one, says out, one side says in. The outside is going to go to the tail light, the in is going to go to the wiring to the vehicle. Now we've tested them and determined that our blue wire, or our white wire with the blue stripe, is going to be our brake. Our white wire with the brown stripe is going to be our running lights. Now, because we have a separate turn signal, our motorhome is going to combine them. So we're going to combine our turn signal to our brake light. So what we're going to do, green wire, strip back a little bit extra. Go ahead and cut our white wire with the brown. Take one of our butt connectors on our diode, put it into place. Go ahead and crimp that down. Our white wire with the brown stripe. Go ahead and put one on there. Crimp it down. Then we're going to take our brown and white wire, combine those together, crimp those down, and install our diode. Just like that. And we're going to do the same thing with this wire. Now you can see how the inside of that kind of cups. It's a good idea to take some black silicone and just kind of fill it in, so if any moisture gets in there, it doesn't sit and corrode the connections. Next, we need to mount our diodes. They have double-sided tape on the back side. Remember, our plug sits a little bit high, so we'll take some rubbing alcohol, anything that'll clean up the area really well. Make sure it's good and dry. Press it into place. Now we'll get our taillight back in place. I'm going to make sure that our wiring is going to be out of the way there. Reinstall our screws. Next thing we want to do is we're going to cut our white wire right about there. And you can see that our white wire is pretty short. I would suggest maybe picking up about 4 foot of extra wire. So we need to run this up to our driver's side tail light. Now what we're going to do is we're going to strip back this wire here that's going to the front of the vehicle. We're going to add a ring terminal. Then we're going to ground this right to the body of the vehicle. Kit's going to come with a self-tapping screw. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to make sure that it's on metal, it's not on any plastic. And it's a good idea, since this is on the outside of the vehicle, to use heat shrink. It's going to help protect that connection a little bit better from any moisture or anything like that. Now we'll take a heat gun and shrink that butt connector up there. Now we determined that our white wire and our purple with the purple stripe is going to be our running light signal, and our white with our blue stripe is going to be our brake and turn. Our yellow wire is going to be for our brake and turn, which is our white wire with the blue stripe. And then our jumper for our tail lights is coming from our passenger side. So going to go to the white with the purple stripe. And we're going to repeat the same process with filling it in with silicone and mounting them on our wall. Now we're going to mount our 4-pole with our wiring. First, take a Phillips screwdriver, remove this top screw here. It's very little, so don't lose it. We should be able to get our inside out. Might have to push it from the back just a little bit, just like that. Now we want to take our wiring, we're going to feed it through the back of our holder here, just like this. Go ahead and slide that up. Now you want to separate our wires like this, and go ahead and strip off the ends. White wire is going to be ground. That's going to be number 1. Screw facing up. It's going to be the bottom left corner here. So these are going to have little tiny screws. You don't have to take these all the way out, just loosen them enough that you can get the wire inside. 1. 2 is going to be the bottom right corner. That's going to be our running lights. 3, top right corner. That's going to be our left turn signal and brake light combined. And then last is going to be our right turn signal. Go ahead and take this back out of the top. Again, it is small, so don't lose it. Slide this back in. Make sure that the hole, the screw goes to the top. And get that in where we line up the holes. Get our screw back in place here. Just like that. Now our 2 screws or bolts and nuts here. These come in your kit. Push it up like that. We'll use a 10mm wrench and a Phillips screwdriver. We'll tighten it into place. Now we're ready to test it out. Make sure everything's working correctly. And that'll do it for a look at and installation on the Roadmaster Diode 7-wire to 4-wire Flexo-Coil wiring kit, part number RM-15247 on our 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee.